How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? It's
It,
been a
it's
long
been,
time.
it's been over 2 months.
That's a long time.
It has been a long time. So everything good?
Everything is good.
Okay, good, good.
Everything is
I'll
good. Yeah.
I'll put the comments here. But yeah, so I know we're at a new time, and I know you're busy today, so I will get right at it. Okay, so you're running for mayor again.
I am. Filed my
All right,
papers officially on Monday. I'm very excited.
cool. First, last term, what is the most what thing are you most proud of that you've accomplished?
Well, you know what? The biggest issue in the 2018 election, which led to five new mayors, five two members, five new members of council. It's been a long
Yeah.
day already. Five new members of council and a new mayor. So a huge change was development, and particularly in the downtown. So 4 days after we were inaugurated, there was a pause on the old official plan that the previous council had endorsed. There was a pause put on it so we could redo that. That previous plan would have allowed up to 30 more high rises in downtown Burlington, including a 17-story high rise right in the middle of Village Square. So we took that out, cut the high rises in half so it's more reasonable, implemented 3 stories along Brant Street with step backs up to about 11 stories. We protected Village Square, kept it at its 2-story. We created actually a heritage district. So those are just some of the things that we changed in the official plan. We shifted growth to the GO station. So we worked with the province and the region to get rid of the urban growth center, major transit station area designations downtown. These were used to justify overdevelopment. Told we couldn't do it. It had never been done then, before, now. It still has never been done by a municipality. We did it. So that was the biggest issue in the 2018 election, and we delivered. Now, people may ask, why are there still cranes in the air? It's a good question. And the cranes that people see in the air are decisions of the previous council or through an Ontario Lands Tribunal. So what we've done is everything within our power to control redevelopment, but some of those decisions were already underway, or they were from the tribunal, which, as we know, is an undemocratic body that should be disbanded.
Okay, so this is a good segue because this was going to be my fourth question, but since you brought this up, council came pretty strongly against the proposal of the two buildings at the Waterfront Hotel lands.
Yes,
What would they have to change for you guys to be okay with it?
well, I can't really prejudge that. They need to listen to the public feedback and our staff feedback that there are a whole host of problems with this application, and it boils down to overdevelopment. It was too intense for the site. There was no parkland contiguous with Spencer Smith Park. There was no view corridor from John Street. They didn't want any setbacks. All the trees were going to get cut down. I mean, the list goes on. And on every count, our staff said, look, this just isn't good planning. So I think they really need to go back to the drawing board. Unfortunately, though, we got notice a couple of days ago that they have appealed that to the Ontario Lands Tribunal. So once again, local decision making will be disrespected. And the fact that tribunal could, now we don't know what the tribunal is going to do, overrule council, staff, and the public is appalling. And that's why we at Regional Council, I brought a motion with my fellow mayor, Rick Bennett from Halton Hills, to get rid of the Ontario Lands Tribunal. That was unanimously supported by Regional Council. And there's a movement Ontario-wide started by Tom Marakis up in Aurora to once again, renew the call to get rid of the tribunal. So it is a time waster. It is a money waster. It slows down the delivery of affordable housing. It adds to the costs, which are passed on. And, just as for example, our official plan, our new one that this council approved in November 2020, we're 2 years later, and we are still at the case management conference stage at the tribunal, much less a decision on our new official plan. So it is an inefficient, undemocratic tribunal who, if it ever had a purpose, that was long ago.
So let me ask you that: are any of the major parties campaigning against abolishing this tribunal in the provincial election?
Not that I've heard, but some are considering reforms, and so the previous government had brought in some reforms. I was part of a group of municipal mayors and councillors. We attended a municipal summit on the tribunal. It was called the Ontario Municipal Board at the time, and said, look, if you're not willing to get rid of it, which is really what you should do, here's how you can reform it. And the previous government did bring in a number of reforms that we supported ultimately. One of which, the biggest issue is what's called de novo hearings, getting rid of that. And what it means is that basically when something goes to the tribunal, it starts all over again. So a file that has been reviewed by the planning experts for the applicants, city staff, gone through council, gone through the public. It's like it didn't happen. It gets all erased and you start from ground zero all over again. It's terribly inefficient. The reforms restricted the reasons for appeal. And now it's a free-for-all. Basically, if you don't like a decision, you take your chances at the tribunal. So what I do meet with all of the candidates at every election. So I have met now with all of the people running for MPP in Burlington from all different parties. And a key message is really get rid of it. But if you in the interim, here's some reforms that would really help make it more efficient. So, we've had a good hearing, more on the reform side of it. You know, the one question I got from one of the people, that I was talking to was, well, what are you going to replace it with? And I said, nothing. It doesn't need to be replaced with anything, but it can certainly be made more efficient and more suitable. So we'll continue to press that case.
Okay. One time when I was a teenager, I went to bingo and I got into a bingo dabber fight and I got kicked out of every single, bingo hall. Yeah, sorry, let me just turn off my phone. I'm not sure why it's going off. It's Mark Messier talking to me. I'm not sure why. So anyways.
That's nice. Do you want to take that call?
No. I think it was a commercial. So, and I got kicked out of every bingo hall in Mississauga. This is a good segue to the bingo dabber fight you guys are having in Burlington.
We are. So bingo is highly regulated because it's considered a form of gambling. It's regulated by the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. But there's a process they have to go through, including getting support from local council. So it came to our committee yesterday, and we had two proposals in front of us. One was a relocation of an existing bingo, the Bingo Connection, who's been in Burlington for over 30 years. They got kind of ousted from their current digs because the place is being redeveloped. So they needed to find a new home. And they were also closed due to COVID. So during this period, another bingo said, look, there's no bingo in Burlington. Maybe we'll set up shop there. This is the bingo. So both applications came to us yesterday they both wanted approval, but both very clearly said there's not a market for two bingos in Burlington, and that it's really important that bingo be viable because they're required by law. 45% of their proceeds go to support charities. And so if you kind of carve up the market and there's less money to go around, you've got a smaller pie to give to your charities. And so end of the day, we said, look, we're going to stick with our known partner who's been here for over 30 years. They had support of over 25 local charities that they've been supporting for decades, a lot of sports charities. So we approved them, and we did not approve the bingo application.
Okay. When I say bingo dabber fight, it was just a bingo dabber fight. It wasn't actual, like, I just grabbed his paper and dabbed it. And,
my only knowledge of bingo is as a meme, like what's on your bingo card for 2022. Okay. COVID was not on my bingo card for 2020, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Should try it out. It's fun, I guess. LaSalle Park Marina is having trouble getting insurance, and I think the city might be taking over.
Well, that's an option for us. And so you're right. They were told by their insurer that they would not extend coverage. They have not been able to get any other insurer to cover them. If the city took it over temporarily, they could shelter under our insurance, and that would preserve the boating season this year. And while we figure out sort of long term, is the city going to run this permanently? Are we going to put out a request for proposals? What are we going to do? We need to buy ourselves some time. I'm completely committed to making sure that we do what we can to preserve the boating season this year. I know the ward councillor Kelvin Galbraith is all over this, so you can expect to see a motion coming forward tomorrow for the city to take it over, and we'll see how committee votes.
Okay. Provincial election is upon us. What one thing is the most important thing for Burlington?
Affordable housing is huge, and we need all levels of government to be working on this. We have a housing affordability task force that is making recommendations that are both, here's what's in the city's wheelhouse that we can control using certain planning tools. Here's advocacy to other levels of government for how they can help us. That's a huge, there are many, by the way, but that's a huge issue.
Okay. And we get questions from journalists, myself, and viewers. Here's one from a viewer. Can we please allow parking on streets on Alton to park more than 2 cars?
So that's a great question for your ward councillor, Paul Sharman, because I know he is working on that. So the city has a parking program up in Alton. You have to get a permit, and it's paid for because there simply isn't enough. That community was designed with the hope that everyone would walk and take transit, and surprise, surprise, people still have lots of cars, especially now when they're working at home more, or kids are returning to home, adult drivers. So so please reach out to ward5@burlington.ca, and the local councillor would be happy to talk to you about what the options might be there.
Awesome. Another viewer question, why all closed door sessions? Why so many closed door sessions?
Well, there's an assumption in the question that is just quite wrong, actually. We don't have any more closed session meetings than we ever did as a percentage of overall meetings. And I report out those stats at every council meeting. It's running about 10% of all the time we spend. We go into closed session to discuss matters. So it's just simply not true. But we're a busy council. We have more meetings, period. We're doing more business, over 1,000 reports in our term of office. This is the Giddy Up, Let's Go Council, and we've done incredible work over the term. And actually today, in about 2 minutes, we'll be discussing a report from a closed meeting investigator. I knew there were questions and concerns about, are we properly enclosed? So I asked them to investigate and tell us. We want to know the answer. And that tool, by the way, is available to any member of council, the public, media. Any concerns, you can ask for an investigation. So don't assume or make an accusation, get the facts. And as you will see, it's a public report on a public agenda. We were properly doing our business on the items noted in closed session, and we protect the community and the community's interest by doing that. So we also, where we can, waive privilege over all kinds of things. Planning reports is a classic example, and we've done that for several terms of council to give the public information where we can. So it's all good. It's all good, and as soon as we're able to release information publicly in a way that doesn't prejudice community interests, we do so.
Okay. And I think you said that was my 2-minute cue, but last thing, yes. Summer events. Are all of them coming back in Burlington?
All back.
Yes.
All back in action. So I will see you out at Sound of Music and Ribfest and Lakeside a la carte and all kinds of other ones.
Awesome. Is there a movie at the Burlington? Movies in the dark?
At the park? Movies in the park. Let me get back to you on that one.
Awesome.
Because they will be building the schedule. So next week.
Okay. Perfect. Mayor Ward, guess what? We did an entire interview today without the word COVID. Can you believe that?
Times have changed. Are changing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. See you later. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.